Welcome to the Final Attack podcast. Today we're going to start covering Chamber XII, which are the Tate Tactics in the back of the book. There's no way that Emery Tate would allow for a chess book to be created about him where he would give you the solutions to the puzzles. So you can just look in the back of the book and be lazy and figure it out. You have to figure these things out for yourself. There are two solutions to this puzzle. And the one that happened in the game is the easier one of the two that you have to fundamentally understand first before you can even get into the more complicated variation. So in this puzzle, it is black to move. Anytime that you get a puzzle and you haven't seen the whole game, the first thing you want to do is you want to do a material count. Material count is quite simple. You just basically cancel out the pieces, right? And so there's a bishop and knight for two knights, small imbalance. Black has the two knights, white has the bishop and knight. And then there's another small imbalance with the queen for the two black rook. In many positions, we say the queen is worth about the same as the two rooks. In this position, the two rooks are going to work together much more effectively. And also, if you notice something about the white queen in this position, is you will notice that she has no squares. Every square that she can move to right now is defended. So essentially the queen is in a mating net. If we can find some additional way to attack her, then we win the queen and we're up enough material that the rest of it would be quite simple. So Emery Tate started with the move g5. Now g5 is what we call a distraction, right? We were trying to get this bishop on f4 to be distracted away from the control of the central square e5. And if they take the bait, if they go bishop takes g5, then we would simply play the move knight to e5. And after knight to e5, there's nowhere for the white queen to go. And this is actually what happened in this famous Emery Tate game. If we go back and look at the other possibilities in this position, the computer engines will actually say that this variation with knight takes f4 check, hitting the king. Of course, you have to recapture, or otherwise you're just losing material. G takes f4, and the invasion of the rooks with rook b2 is a slightly more effective way to win the game than 1g5. Both of them would suffice to get a winning position. Now we're hitting the knight on d2. He has to run somewhere, so knight f3. And then we come in with a crushing checkmating attack with our two rooks and our knight on d7. So the knight swings into f6. From f6, he's hitting e4. If he gets to e4, he's hitting f2. From f2, he coordinates with the rook on the 7th rank on b2. There's not really much white can do in this position. He could try something like knight g5 to protect his pawn on e4. And now the other rook swings in, rook a to a2. We have pigs on the 7th. And these rooks are going to crush through with a checkmating attack. You can try to come back and guard f2, but after knight takes e4, there's nothing to do about knight takes f2 with the pigs on the 7th, the rook on b2, and the rook on a2 breaking through. Let's go back to another variation that white could possibly play. With knight takes f4 check, g takes f4, and then rook to b2. If the knight goes over to f3, we play knight to f6, hitting e4, hitting f2, pawn to e5. After pawn to e5, we're going to swing in with knight e4. Now, he can always throw in this check. It doesn't matter. He can throw in a check on c8. He can throw in the check on e8. They both are useless. They don't do anything. There's no coordination with any other pieces. Our king would just step up and get out of trouble. But maybe they go e takes d6, rook takes f2 check, king to h1, and then rook takes f3. And now there's literally nothing that the white king can do to escape checkmate, other than possibly maybe bringing this queen back to g4 and g1 and giving it up for one of the rooks. In that case, we would have a ton of material. So let's say white plays pawn takes, we can go rook takes f2 check, king to h1, rook takes f3, and the combination of this rook on a7 coming into a1, this knight working together on the squares f2 and g3, and then this rook having the flexibility to go to f1 or f2, or maybe even along the 3rd rank, would lead to mate shortly. Let's just say d takes e7, white is hoping to get another queen, rook a1 check, king to g2, rook f2 check, protected by the knight, the king only has h3, rook a3 check, king to g4, and this is one of the great things about a king hunt, is once you get that king to come out far enough and close enough to you, then your pawns that are at home can even become part of the attack with h5 check. King to h4, rook takes f4 check, nothing left to do but block with the queen, and then rook takes g4 would be checkmate. A very nice attacking puzzle from Emery Tate where basically white has to pick his poison. Is he going to lose his queen or is he going to get checkmated? This is the type of pressure you would constantly be under when facing international chess master Emery Tate over the board. We look forward to seeing you again soon for Tate Tactic number 2.